The game has loaded. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. We are going to have close by air. We have 6 Jacks DDE spawning here as the blue Terran at the 9 o'clock position. And his opponent is going to be Fnatic MSI KawaiiRice spawning as the yellow Terran. And I feel like when it comes to pro gamers, Chill, yellow is like the color of choice. They all like to play with it. Yeah.
I know. Do you remember Big T? Big T, the old,
Good old
famous
Big T.
commentator. I know yellow was his favorite. I prefer pink, to be honest, but pink is kind of played out at this point.
Well, it's also, you can't choose it on some maps.
Oh, that's true. I hope in Heart of the Swarm they release some new colors. I'm itching. Itching for new options for my threads.
Blizzard, you should get on making new colors. Don't worry about balancing the game or introducing just new colors,
just
guys.
Just hire another team.
Yeah, a color team. You see, once again, DDE is going for that quick refinery that we did see last game. This will, of course, utilize the quicker factory. If we go look at KawaiiRice, he's going to be going for the standard 13 racks, or excuse me, 12 racks, 13 refinery. And close by air, once again, mentioning that quite a bit, but it will probably make a pretty big difference here, especially if one player does go for draw play and the other does not.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a time when Metalopolis first came out and StarCraft 2 first came out and it was close by air and commentators were like, wow, this is good for drops. And players were like, well, he's so close, I should drop by air. But it's kind of settled down to a point where everybody realizes it's going to happen and it's viable. The thing that I find more exciting about these positions is that you've got the two different lanes that become tactically super important. You've got the close lane, which means rush distances are fairly short. I'm talking about after we expand, so talking around the 8-10 minute mark, it's pretty easy to run down and start shelling out your opponent's expansion. But when we get to the late game, this right side expansion, it's going to be so critical if the game gets drawn out to lock that down. If you have your opponent bleeding behind your back lines by running down this right path, that's going to be so frustrating and so difficult to deal with.
Looks like KawaiiRice will find his opponent first. He does see that factory. Once again, the Marine not popped out just yet. But it will be here in just a couple seconds. So the SCV is going to be falling back because he doesn't know this. It's very common. We see 2 Marines already out for KawaiiRice, and kind of an interesting wall off here from the Terran player, using only 1 pathway and using 2 Marines, not on hold position, but they will be able to kill any SCV that does try to sneak up into the base. And a factory started, but you could see right here, if you look at KawaiiRice's factory, it's about 20 seconds from being done. And DDE just now finishing, immediately dropping down that starport.
Yeah, I guess this is his go-to bread and butter build. He's got the Hellion out in time, which is going to help him fend off any sort of proxy or 2 racks rushes, and just deal with those Marines a little bit easier. Meanwhile, he gets his tech going so quickly. I want to see if he follows up the same way, getting the tech lab on the factory and then swapping it out with the starport. I feel like that part of the build could use just a little bit more refinement. He didn't get that much value out of the early game, and KawaiiRice was really able to expand quickly off of that. But meanwhile, KawaiiRice following up differently here, kind of going the same path, or I guess getting to the same destination, a different path. He's also got tech lab on the factory and gonna finish up the starport.
See, the Hellion from DDE has been denied entry into that main base of KawaiiRice. But at the same time, the old switcheroo from the starport and the factory, if we look at the gas, it's 235, so he will be able to get Cloak, but the Banshee will be denied just a little bit. So we are going to see that Banshee being produced, and does not have enough energy for Cloak. He might not be getting it whatsoever, as another tech lab is going to be added on to that factory. Popping back over into DDE's base, we see that Banshee coming out as well as his second command center being started.
Yeah, both players starting their command center now. DDE getting it a bit quicker. We're going to see the Banshees go in and just give a tiny bit of map control to each other, keep the opponents wary and in their base. Both players have been producing enough Marines that they're not going to outright die to this. And KawaiiRice is following up with that good old BFH upgrade. Blue Flame Hellions on the way. It's like the Doom gun.
That's actually true. Never heard someone refer to it. You can see the Banshees here doing a little bit of a star-eyed kiss, I guess, as they pass by each other. There's the Banshee of DDE. Does get, I think, 3 kills. But now he's going to have to do the old scoot and shoot. I love the fact that he went through the buildings of KawaiiRice, so he made those Marines actually travel quite a bit further. He was still able to get some shots down. At the same time, the Banshee of KawaiiRice is at 2 kills, but it is trying to get out of there. Oh, but he's not going to be able to as the Viking pops out just in time. He should secure this kill, and that should seal the deal.
Oh, and a bit of a mistake there. KawaiiRice also had a Viking out in time, but he rallied it back to his ramp, so DDE is going to be able to repair his Banshee and have the benefit of a Banshee and a Viking, whereas KawaiiRice is down to just a Viking. He's not continuing to produce anything out of that starport, and we don't really have anything notable that would warrant that, so he's just going to be cool with this one Viking and his few Marines to help keep him safe. Now transitioning.
Oh, you see a Banshee dying there.
Wow.
As it did fly into the Viking and a handful of Marines, but DDE's going to actually secure his
didn't expect that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why he followed up. I guess he saw the fact that there was not a Viking out earlier. You did mention the fact that it was rallied to his natural.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Rallied to that ramp, so he might have just went for it. But both players are now kind of looking like we're going to see that Marine siege tank play, or at least out of DDE. There was the Blue Flame Hellion actually finishing here for KawaiiRice. We do have a reactor on this factory. He has not lifted just yet with that second orbital. And a Raven, of all things, coming out for KawaiiRice.
KawaiiRice is a little bit mistimed here. If he was going for that drop, I think it would have been really nice to follow up with a nice Blue Flame drop after getting the upgrade, but he decided to go for the Raven. Better to be safe than sorry, I guess, in case Cloak was following up. Meanwhile, DDE getting a second factory, going with tanks. Looks like he wants to stick with Tank Marine himself.
You see those Vikings got a couple of shots onto that Rax, but he will go ahead and land it. Now finally taking his natural expansion, and at the same time, DDE is thinking about moving out. You can't really siege on this area. There's no unit producing structures. There's quite a bit of Blue Flame Hellions here for KawaiiRice. He's thinking about moving out. At the same time, you see another attack here from these Vikings. DDE now kind of secure in the middle of this map. Blue Flame Hellions chill. They do quite well against Marines, so this could get picked up. And actually, in pretty big numbers, they do pretty good against small numbers of siege tanks. So,
yeah, it's actually true. Like, they're bad against tanks, but tanks are bad against Hellions, so it kind of works out. You have so many Hellions. DDE needs to be careful if he doesn't get siege up here. Those are not the best area to be landing. He's going to land the Vikings as well. And I guess Blue Flame Hellions counter a lot of things.
Except for Vikings. Vikings are actually pretty strong against Hellions right there. They are armored units, so they're going to get folks down here. This is something that you rarely ever see. Vikings being the ones to kill a ton of units. The Marines coming in, they will be able to snipe the remaining forces here.
Yeah, KawaiiRice needs to recall his SCVs. He doesn't need them out battling. And actually, a lot of these Marines have gone down to the Vikings. Now the Vikings going to lift off. One of them going to get away. You know, I want to go back to that battle, and that was really KawaiiRice's mistake. He should have been out on the map with those Blue Flame Hellions. There's really no reason to have your quick, I guess, glass cannon unit like a Blue Flame Hellion just sitting at your natural. You need to abuse the mobility, and there was a point where all those Marines were just lined right up waiting for those Blue Flame Hellions, but KawaiiRice missed that opportunity. Now that he's shown the Blue Flame, he needs to get out and start harassing because it's no longer a surprise. I'd like to see him start getting medevacs out and trying to flank around to the third. We can see he's going here to the, flank around to the natural. He's going to the third, which is all right, but he needs to start getting some value out of these.
Yeah, now this is kind of looking a little bit more like the Slayers games we saw, or the TVTs we saw really at MLG Anaheim. We have a drop coming in here pretty soon for DDE. I believe he does not have, oh, he actually does have Blue Flame. As a bunch of Hellions are moving up this left lane on the map for KawaiiRice. This drop chill could do so much damage. If we look, there's only a handful of Hellions for KawaiiRice at his ramp. But I do quite like the supply depot placement. DDE can't even get in there to attack the SCVs, chill.
That's beautiful. And that's actually something KawaiiRice did last game. But I just never really brought it up because it never came to fruition. He had all his barracks lined up to block this Hellion harassment, but DDE is going to go for it anyway. Dropping to the natural, and KawaiiRice has let it happen.
Uh-oh, he's lining him up, chill. That was a big kill right there. And oh, he's got to just drop back into the main, and the SCVs are still oh so vulnerable. They are going to get pulled back, but he will not be able to actually engage them, lifting up that one remaining Hellion. And there was an attack, I believe, here from KawaiiRice. He's actually canceled the third base, or would be third base, from DDE. And now, if you look at the command center, we have 5 SCVs queued up. 107 energy, 5 SCVs queued up in the main with 111 energy. And here's a big SCV attack, or excuse me, a Hellion attack coming into the natural, but it is going to get cleaned up very, very quickly.
And this has really devolved into just Hellion Sacrifice versus Hellion Sacrifice. We can see, looking at the production of DDE, he's got 4 factories, one of them reactored, one of them naked, and he's got tanks coming out of the other ones, but the rest are just going to be Hellions. Meanwhile, KawaiiRice is kind of going Hellion tank, but in a different style. He's got less production. Let's take a look at the income tab, because I feel like he's got less SCVs. Yes, he's down by 20 SCVs, so that's a pretty big factor there.
We see DDE has kind of secured, or trying to secure, the Zelnaga. As we see both players actually engaging right now. Oh, and the siege tanks of DDE are just doing so much damage. I'm not sure, and I'm actually perplexed a little bit as to why KawaiiRice would engage into that. There's just way too many tanks, Chill. Oh, he's landing the Vikings, and
it doesn't make sense. Even if he breaks through here, to what end is he trying to do this? You know, it's not like if he breaks through, he wins the game because he's at the production facilities. It's like if he breaks through, he's going to die to the reinforcements. So I'm really wondering what he was thinking there. But throwing away what, I guess, chance he had at equalizing the stakes there. He's now down by 40 supply, and DD has the gold.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of Blue Flame Hellions you can make when you got a gold.
Yeah, and this gold base, I mean, the longer that it's actually there, it's just going to kind of swing the game in DDE's favor more and more. KawaiiRice knows he's actually got to push out, but he just does not have the forces for it right now. As quite a bit of units, looking at the army size for both players. And this high yield, I think, is really just going to win the game for DDE here if this game progresses that much further, Chill.
Yeah, all he's got to do is wall off. Oh, he's actually walling it off right now. So he's completely walling off his gold to shut down Blue Flame Hellion attacks. He's going to need more production facilities. I actually wouldn't even mind seeing him put more factories at the northwestern end of this gold to completely shut that down and make the only entrance the southwestern end to this gold. But KawaiiRice is... what can he do? He's got to hope for Blue Flame Hellion swipes on SCVs, or he's got to grind it out to 200, because I don't really see DD coming in and you know, swinging his arms around and throwing away his advantage, trying to show KawaiiRice who's boss in the mid game here. Yeah.
If we look, we do have some Blue Flame Hellions up here for KawaiiRice, and Chill, they're actually, we see a scan come down.
Oh, why didn't you wall it?
He might be able to kill a ton of SCVs here. The Blue Flames are doing their damage, and oh no, Chill, going into the counting station. Oh, they're lining up, Chill. He's getting quite a bit of kills. Oh, I love when things line up. It's just...
oh, they're coming back for more. No.
Uh-oh, but so is his entire army. And that'll actually get cleaned up. But that was quite a bit of workers taken out there for KawaiiRice, but I do not believe it's going to be enough.
A little bit of a drop on KawaiiRice's natural, but not getting too many kills there. Just damaged a little bit. Well, worker count showing 71 to 46, so they've traded a little bit.
Yeah.
KawaiiRice just doesn't like to build workers. I don't know why. So he's always down in worker supply. So that's not like a huge Blue Flame Hellion swipe there. That's just KawaiiRice starting with fewer workers.
We see the Terran building armor upgrade coming out for DDE. I actually have seen a lot of players doing that lately in this matchup and a lot of other matchups. We see KawaiiRice trying to get in here and do some damage to that high yield, bringing almost his entire force, but there's quite a bit of Vikings for both players. The siege tank favor. Oh, they're actually sieging up at just the same time. Now it's a huge Viking war. It looks like KawaiiRice will win that. And the shell counts looking like they're going towards DDE at the moment. But now those Vikings have been taken out. A scan coming down. And I think both players just going to be right outside their reach for the tanks here.
Yeah, KawaiiRice doing what he can here. He's got nice positioning here, but I still don't think this is enough to bring him back in the game. DD has gone up to 6 factories worth of production. KawaiiRice is up to, looks like, 4. So he's holding his own, still down by 30 supply here. He's dealing a little bit of damage here as he's crept up on this tank The southern tank gonna take that down. DDE needs to get something together and try to break through this, and looks like he's gonna drive a bunch of blue flame Hellions forward, try to take everything out. First dealing with the blue flames and now driving forward, taking out everything, and that's a big loss of position for KawaiiRice.
Yeah, we do have quite a few blue flames here, but not too many siege tanks from KawaiiRice. The siege does go down for KawaiiRice. Vikings being landed in the back, and KawaiiRice might win this fight, Chill.
Very nice play by KawaiiRice, especially landing those Vikings to clean it up. Supplies still favoring DDE by 40, but KawaiiRice is getting closer. As the army sizes drop, that makes blue flame Hellions more effective.
Oh no, Chill, look at the natural of KawaiiRice. Almost every single SCV being taken out. They're trying to get into the main, but there's actually no minerals to be mined. And that was quite a blow there coming out from those blue flame Hellions.
KawaiiRice has 200 energy on his third command
Yeah,
center.
I just saw that. I guess that's typical among these players. I'm not really too sure.
He's saving it up for his new expansion. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why he's doing that. 3 siege tanks now. Oh, they're all on sieging. As quite a few blue flame Hellions are going to sneak by here. And there's quite a few SCVs here. Oh no, Chill, this just might not be good at all.
Going to the third. Oh, one SCV blocking him. He needs to block the
Oh,
escape
no.
path, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Oh man, that is so many SCVs taken out there. Blue flame Hellions of DDE are going to be able to... Chill's still reeling from that last attack. DDE is going to be able to chase this attack out, but looking at the unit tab, I believe that was around 25 workers killed right there for KawaiiRice.
That's nuts. If KawaiiRice can somehow magically get into the natural of DDE and finish off those SCVs, then DDE is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Right.
He's spread himself out without controlling the right lane. And when you get those blue flames back there behind your defenses, it's just so easy for them to do damage so quickly.
There's a big force.
He's got to secure the eastern front, and then he wins the game.
Yep, we see a big force over here on the eastern side of this high yield. He's not too sure about engaging at the moment, though. And right now, I'd really say KawaiiRice has the bigger army for sure over DDE. He's not exactly sure when he wants to really shove into this high yield. He wants to make sure that he doesn't really take too many losses. He might bypass this. No, he's just going to set up a big wall. The high tank or the high ground siege tanks of DDE are going to be able to get a couple shots there. Oh, but here's that one Banshee of KawaiiRice. That is actually going to make quite a bit of difference here at this natural. If he could take out that missile turret with the tanks, he can send that in and kill quite a few siege tanks.
This is surprising that a game would start out, you know, mech, blue flame, Hellion, tank, and now air control is suddenly becoming pivotal. KawaiiRice is so annoying. He's able to siege up, use these Banshees to clean up fleeing tanks, and he's got the vision from those Vikings. DD has had enough. He's just going to run forward with some blue flames and see what he can do. Taking out all the blue flames of KawaiiRice, now going to work on the tanks, so his own tanks can flank and deal with whatever else KawaiiRice has. Is KawaiiRice going to pull back or go for a base trade? Looks like he's going to continue to attack, and this is going to be a little bit difficult for KawaiiRice to deal with.
We actually have quite a few Hellions over here at the third base of KawaiiRice, and he's killing so many, and they're now lining up. Oh no, there's one big shot. Here's the second one. Oh, so many SCVs falling, and we actually see KawaiiRice falling back to take care of these Hellions. Planetary Fortress will be able to try to save those units, but at the same time, we see a huge Viking number on the right side of the map. I believe almost all the air forces were taken out there of KawaiiRice. Jill, did you happen to see what happened to those?
Yeah, they died. Actually, DD got enough Vikings up that he was able to take that out. We can see on the units tab, the only air units left for KawaiiRice are Banshees, and now getting sniped by the Vikings. Doesn't have cloaks, so those are all going to go down. KawaiiRice so indecisive. He's moving up the right side to attack and then pulling back, moving up, pulling back. Again. Yeah. He's just reeling. He doesn't know what should he do. Big props to him for not dying to that big Hellion tank attack that DD put forward, but I don't think it's going to be enough to get him back in this game at this point.
Yeah, it's actually TBT for a while there. I mean, of course, back in the beta, it was just ridiculous when it was the only Viking tank armies. But it's really crazy how quick a game can kind of shift back and forth because of these Blue Flame Hellions now. And a lot of Terrans are really picking up the style because, like you just saw, DDE really came back big in that game, just taking out so many SCVs, now landing all the Vikings here in the main base. And DDE will be able to do quite a bit of damage, taking out the unit producing structures here in the main of KawaiiRice.
And a little thing that's different in modern TVT compared to that old beta TVT is now Terrans are realizing how strong landed Vikings are. There used to be a joke that they were so bad, but you know, they're great harassment units, very annoying to deal with, strong against Hellions, as you mentioned, very strong against Marines. So you can drop them and shut down an expansion, shut down unit producing structures so easily, as we see DDE abusing here in the main base. KawaiiRice is finally committed to counterattacking. He's moved up. A scan gets dropped on him as he begins to siege and spread, but this should be easily defeated by the superior army of DDE.
Yeah, it might be too little too late. I mean, right now it's 190 supply compared to the 60 of KawaiiRice, and it's still actually falling. These siege tanks are really not doing a whole lot of damage here for KawaiiRice. At the same time, he's losing all of the buildings in his main base to these Hellions, to these tanks. There is a lone Thor as well, just wrecking shop at the natural. This is just not looking good for KawaiiRice at this stage in the game.
You know, it was a good idea to try to shut down all the mining of DDE, but what KawaiiRice didn't expect was this tank being here at the third base, and that's really what slowed this down and allowed DDE to stay alive and continue dealing damage. Now flanking in, this is probably going to be one of the final battles as DDE surrounds and collapses, forcing KawaiiRice to call GG, and that means DDE is going to go up 2-0.
Yeah, he's actually going to be one game away from that first place prize of $1,000. Of course, this is a best of 5. The loser will choose the next map. Chill. We'll have to see if DDE can seal the deal over Fnatic, MSI, KawaiiRice, and we're going to take another quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be going into game 3. We'll have the map for you guys. We'll see you then.